Good evening, folks. Welcome to another edition of Grumpy Old Spurs. Instant reaction to the Bodo glimpse in the Cheltenham, in the Champions League tonight. I'm Matt hosting, and with me tonight is all the way from Australia is Dave. How are you, Dave?
Yeah, I thought the Cheltenham Cup was fantastic. The horses were superb.
I don't know why I came up with that, mate. Don't know where that come from. But also with us tonight, Connor. How are you, mate? Been out and about on various pods this week, or have you had a quiet one?
Quiet-ish this week. It's only just started, isn't it? So
Well, it's only Tuesday. Yeah,
he's already done that. He's already done last word on Spurs Sunday night. I noticed.
I did do that Sunday night.
They've got a set panel for instant reactions, haven't they, Connor? And you haven't worked your way onto that yet, so you've got.
Don't make the cut for that, mate.
No. So hey, listen, everybody. Quick reminder before we get going: please hit subscribe. Please hit the like button if you're enjoying the show. It really helps us, and hopefully we can get other Spurs fans watching us and enjoying it. Look, anyway, let's get on with it. Let's moan, let's laugh, let's find a little bit of love for Spurs if we can tonight, and let's just get into the nitty-gritty of what happened tonight. Now, I told Dave, look, everyone, I was taking notes tonight on the game. I thought I'd take some notes. First of all, let's start with the lineup. I looked at that lineup and I'm thinking, lack of creativity, set up to get a result, very workmanlike. Dave, what are you thinking when you see the starting 11?
I would hang on. Are we back to grumpy again? Yeah, we are. We're very grumpy. I thought to myself, Odegaard, well, this is his opportunity tonight. Yeah. This is his opportunity to show his minerals, as they say. Brennan Johnson back in his proper position. Again, an opportunity to show his minerals. The lack of a central striker is just Richarlison or Richarlison, because we've got no tell. I was pleased to see Sarr back in the lineup. I think our best midfield would be Paulinho, Sarr or Bergvall in the 8, and Xavi Simon as our number 10. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And then Romero is injured and no one's talking about it, which is worrying.
Who from? Fans or from the club?
Well, I find it's one of those. Solanke's been nursing. He'll try and get his ankle right for 2 months, and now he's had an operation. It's always the same with us. When there's radio silence about somebody, the next thing we know, there's the thumbs up on Instagram, lol, working my way back to recovery post.
After a small operation or something, when it out of the blue. Before the club announced it, we'll see on Instagram him sat in a hospital bed with a big scar on his fucking knee or something. Connor, when you saw the lineup, what are you thinking?
I expected some rotation tonight, because of the build-up of game. So it didn't shock me that Paulinho didn't start, for example, because I thought, do you know what? I thought he's getting on a bit. Will he be able to do that many games in a row? So I expected some, but and kudos to me, even though he didn't play against Doncaster. I thought towards the end of the Wolves game, he looked pretty fatigued. So again, didn't surprise me that he gave Johnson a chance tonight. And similar to Dave, I thought it's a good opportunity for Odegaard, because I've been making this argument that, like Dave, I want to see Simmons in the 10. Obviously, I think we all want to see Simmons in the 10. And so all of our left-wing options are shit. So you just pick the least shit one. And I think that was the chance for Odegaard to make that stand for being the least shit. And I'm not sure.
And the other thing is, Connor,
most shit.
With that, I think because the bar is so low, like the left wing is like the black hole of the pitch, isn't it? It's like the twilight zone, the left wing. It's no matter, the bodies we've got to put there, you put them there. It's much of a muchness. But I'm thinking to myself, just give someone a go. If you don't get me wrong, I don't particularly rate any of them, but give somebody like 4 or 5 games. If it's going to be Odegaard, give him 4 or 5 games. Now, I don't think he was. Obviously, we'll come on to parts of the game, but as we're talking about this particular part of the team, I don't think he was fantastic tonight. but I thought out of all the players on there, he was one of the better ones who actually tried to do a little bit. I'm not saying it always come off. I said he was
really.
I thought
so first half,
it's a
I thought,
low bar, but
yeah, it was. I was going to say I don't completely disagree with you because I think first half he was the best of the front three because
yeah,
the other two were an absolute joke. I mean, like 1 out of 10. So by putting in a 4 out of 10, 5 out of 10 performance in the first half, he was the best of that front three.
That's
But he
not
did
much
this
of a
thing that Odegaard.
benchmark. If you, that's
No, it's not.
sorry.
It's
but
not.
that
But
is the
he
benchmark.
it's not.
But it is, isn't it?
But he
That's
did
where
this
we're at.
thing. He did this thing that it seems to be a bit of a trend, a worrying trend with Odegaard, that even when he does play, he just disappears from games as well. So when he has he'll have a good 15 minutes or something.
Yeah,
And I'm not saying tonight he had a particularly good one. It was okay. But then he just disappeared. I didn't see him for 25 minutes in that second half until we started to make the subs and came on top. And obviously they were trying to hold their lead as well. So the game transitioned that way anyway.
But is
yeah,
it the case with Odegaard
great.
in the second half? Sorry to cut across you, Connor, but when Xavi Simons came on, Odegaard was moved to 10 and Simons played on the left. Or was it I thought that was the case. And I'm sitting there going, why?
well, I boiled a bit of piss in our group at the weekend.
Did you?
Because I'm not saying he's not a good player, but I don't think this Xavi Simons is the player everybody made him out to be. I think he's been severely overhyped. I know it's early in his tenure and he was bad on Saturday.
What?
No,
I like
It's
him.
really early.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
I'm not saying he's rubbish or a bad player, but I think he's been massively overhyped for what he's gonna bring to us. Obviously, it is early, and he has got we need to see him playing that 10, and we need to see him consistently. But I do think that I think we're pining and praying and hoping for him to be this massive spark in this literally game-changing player, and I'm not sure he's going to be that.
Well, your comment is from Keith, who's normally always late, has now said you're too early. That's what's provoked him to make that comment to your
Before I give you what I told Dave, I don't know if you can remember this. I told you as I was doing my notes what my very first note was. But I did before the game, I wrote my concerns about Tottenham at the moment and for tonight. There was an XG stat about like what our XG's been over the last 5 games.
Yep.
One avenue of attack, kudos. The balance of our midfield, no, but I'm not really sure we know what it is. Here's one. This is controversial as well. Spence, since the international break, I think he's turned it off a bit.
Yeah, he has.
I think his passing's poor, his decision making's poor. He looks at times like he don't give a fuck, very aloof. Centre forward Richie, balls like a hot potato with him. And then the other one I've just put, maybe it's time for a front two. If Richie's got to play, he's going to need someone close to him because when he's on his own, he struggles. So here's my first point from the game tonight. 29 seconds, Richie on the floor. So bringing that into this point.
But then the ref did foul Bergvall. He should have got a yellow, the ref, for fouling Bergvall.
So I'll tell you what, because as we were on Richie, my first 2 things were 29 seconds, Richie on the floor, as he always is. Player gets near him, he's on the floor. Connor, 8 minutes. 8 minutes. Champions League, the top standard of football, no matter who you're playing. You're in the higher echelons. Richie miss. I can't remember if he missed the ball or just missed the chance. It was whatever it was. It was just like, oh, God.
Yeah, I mean, it was great play by Bergvall as well, wasn't it? Great run, very good ball. Obviously, I think Richarlison expected that the player was going to clear it, and it was just horrific from him. And I mean, on a night that Kane has just, scored another 2, I think that's now 17 goals in 9 games he's got this season, Kane. It's stark, the difference between what we were used to seeing up front versus Richarlison, who to me is just abysmal, shocking. Got no first touch. He doesn't make any good runs off the ball. Can't hold the ball up. Doesn't connect play. I think the problem is when you've at the moment, if Kudus isn't playing, we have zero outlet whatsoever who can hold the ball up, because you're also missing Kulusevski and Solanke, who could do that potentially as well.
Even Maddison.
And so Johnson, when you've got that sort of double pairing of Johnson and Richarlison, the ball is just bouncing and being turned over so quickly, and so there's no way that you can sort of build any sort of attacking play anyway. So I think this is the problem at the moment. We desperately need Muani to get a new leg.
Well, apparently he's overweight.
I think he's going to be out for a while. Well, yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I mean,
he's overweight. He's unfit. He's overweight. He's unfit, and he's had a dead leg for 3 weeks.
I thought when we got him, from what I've seen, which ain't a fat lot, but I thought, yeah, good addition to the squad. But it was one of those again, wasn't it? Lastminute.com, because the other deals that we
but that's under our previous owners. We've got a new era.
That was in the old era, wasn't it? That was the old era. But
we don't talk about him.
Dave, Rich has missed this chance. You can come on to that as well. But it is the other thing I was saying about this is about our play in general. I wrote down, I think our wide men get the ball far too often with their backs towards the opposition's goal. Even Kudus, but Kudus can get out of it. But when you're playing Johnson, what is the point in playing the ball into his feet, facing his own goal? Because it's just literally ball into him, and then it's put your foot on it, pass it back, isn't it? I mean, like that front, like Connor was saying, that front three. No, I'm not saying the rest of the team were playing well, but it is just there is no sort of like escape for the defence or the midfield, is there? There is no release for them. It is literally they're just either the wide men are either getting it and just passing it back, and Richie up top is just. And I don't know if we can completely blame Richarlison, because we know what he is. If you put a ball in the box, you got a bit of a chance with it. Yeah,
then he does well. Other than that,
but a
decent cross. Richarlison's strengths are in the air if he gets a decent cross, obviously, or he gets something in the 6-yard box where he doesn't have to think about it. Although saying that miss he did in the very first 5 minutes, where literally
that was the one we were talking about 8 minutes.
That is one of the misses of the season, not the season. That is one of the misses of recent years, I have to say. That's up there with the Darren Bent, Sandra.
Did you not find with him as well today when we were trying to put the ball through to? I mean, we didn't move the ball particularly quick or particularly well, but he was always coming back from offside. He wasn't like working hard to get back on side. It's like a lot of the time he was just sort of like meandering back, and the ball just comes straight back then because he can't go for it because it'll be offside. So he just sort of leaves it, and I thought he was poor. I think he is poor, but. Yeah, and then I thought I put 20 minutes, terrible at progressing the ball. And then on 29 minutes, we had the ball pinged around from a corner and Johnson just bladdered it over. And at that point, you're thinking, this ain't going to be a good night, weren't you? It was poor, wasn't it? First half hour, but Connor. Poor stuff.
I mean, there was, I think the only one that you can say did all right was Bergvall in the first half.
Van der Ven, maybe?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking about midfield forwards. So,
yeah.
And Odegaard, as I say, was very, very marginally better than the other two. But yeah, I mean, Bentancur and Sarr might as well have been sitting in my living room. They were a complete waste of space in the first half, I thought. I
mean, that penalty.
You're right about. Sorry, go on, Dave.
I'm going to come to you on that, Dave, because I just want to say, as you talk about the penalty, can you embellish on this? I think Bentancur is very conservative. I think for we're talking about getting a new contract, and for him being one of the sort of senior members of the team, I just feel like he's going through the motions.
Someone just walked out. So Bentancur, right? Okay, so a couple of things with him. One, that was the most foolhardy thing that he's done on television since his notorious interview in Uruguay the other year. That was just I don't know what he was doing, right? And I also think that Frank's decision not to have a training session on the pitch for tactical reasons Whereas the Australian coach who got us a great result there last season, who you two drove out
He
the
never
club,
he
and
never
Leon.
trained on it, did he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. And then Bentancur. I don't want to see Bentancur. I like towards the. I know I'm jumping around, but towards the end when we were chasing the goal, and he's got Polinia and Bentancur in the midfield again. It's like Howes and Nielsen together in the 90s. You can't have Polinia and Bentancur in the same midfield, especially at home against the likes of Wolves, which I know we're not talking about.
Well, you have
right?
jumped forward, Dave, and I've spent all this time writing these notes down.
Sorry, but I just think Bentancur. I just like City away. He was fantastic, right? I thought he had a great game, and in those kind of games, him and Paolini together, fine. But he is conservative. I would give him another contract, but just to extract more money when we sell him in the summer. Once we get Adam Wharton in under the new owners and the new era and the financial muscle that we'll undoubtedly have.
So it was that was stupid. Terrible going to ground like that in the penalty area. I don't know what he was thinking. Luckily, Connor, the penalty was just as bad as the tackle, wasn't it?
Dave, it's funny because I think I wrote in the chat, one of the group chats, that there's no chance Vicario saves this because he is abysmal at saving penalties, as we've seen. So it was a relief that he did decide to put it 60 yards over the bar. But yeah, I agree. Look, with Bentancur, it was a horrific challenge. I don't know what he was doing, and for me, this is a player who I think under Conte, arguably after Kane, there was a period where he was our second best player, if not, for times our best player.
Getting in the box, scoring goals, driving forward.
And obviously injuries may have had an impact, but do you know what? I'm not sure it is necessarily the injury. I think he's the sort of player, that needs a manager like Conte who tells him exactly, we know what Conte was like, drilling players to say, you need to pick up these positions at this point in the game. You have to play these. But I think Bentancur needs that sort of forceful driving manager on him, because to me, the amount the bloke passes sideways and back now, 5-yard passes, and then to Dave's point, when you play him with Paolini, who's also restricted in terms of progressing the ball, and then when Romero's missing, and look, Romero's not completely faultless at times, but the one thing Romero can do much better than anyone in our midfield is punch passes through the lines and progress the ball forward. And today you saw what happens when Romero's not playing, because Danso has been waxed lyrical about by our fans, and he's a good defender, a good old school defender, but his passing tonight was absolutely abysmal. It was like a 10-year-old trying to pass.
Yeah, so I thought he was poor, mate. Oh, chalk and cheese, mate. No matter what, that's why I always used to stick up for Romero. But like you're saying, Bodo had another chance on 40 minutes, and then it's coming to the end of the half, and Sarr went through, and he had a shot with his left foot from distance, and I just thought that we're just losing our heads now. The decision making was terrible, but with Paolini, mate, he should play all the time. At least he will try and rake a ball or try and break a line with his pass. And even if he can't, Bentancur's just decided, I'm just going to go through. It feels like he's just going through the motions.
He's turned into Ray Wilkins from the 80s, where he only passed 5-yard side ball. Yeah.
2 secs, just talking out between. I'm just going to have a quick slurp of water. I've got a frog in my throat.
Okay. Ask your dad or your granddad, Connor, about Ray Wilkins in the midfield. All he did was pass sideways. So we get to the break. Were you expecting wholesale changes at halftime from our in-game managing genius, Thomas Frank? Connor?
I would have. I would have brought on Kudus and Simmons at that point. Obviously, brought them on slightly later. And the one thing I would say, I think Gibbo's point about Simmons is way too early to make, particularly as he's been playing out on the left and playing with some, as we've all just said, very poor. I mean, even in the Wolves game, he was abysmal. To be fair, he had a bit of a stinker against Wolves, but there were times when there was one example where he played like this little back heel And if Bentancur was actually on the same wavelength, it would have been a great pass, but it made it look like it was a Simmons bad pass. But anyway, I think what Simmons and Kudus did do when they came on, you got two players actually with some sort of level of technical ability.
They did this thing called trying to beat a man on the wings. Have you heard of that concept?
These were my notes from half time. Benny, far too risk averse, playing within himself.
Yeah.
Johnson passes backwards. Ritchie offers nothing. Spence going through the motions. Porro's passing was terrible. Van der Ven, Bergvall, Sarr, Odegaard did okay. That was my take.
I made the strawberry smoothie at halftime, and it might not be in your notes though.
So, like, I've put ball retention is dreadful. Then on 52 minutes, deserved goal, and our friend who we've been talking about, Bentancur, I think a ball was played between him and Sarr. Then, if you watched it, he was just sort of. Don't get me. I don't think he would have managed to get back, but he was just sort of like jogging back. Poor goal to give away, and at that point, you're thinking, "Here we go."
Is it me, or should Vicario have got down better or done better with the shot? Or am I being harsh?
Harsh, I think, in terms of saving the goals.
That was top corner,
obviously. First one was top corner, the second one was bottom corner, wasn't it? But I think that's a little bit harsh. But he did play a part in the goal because of that awful clearance again.
Yeah.
Where he just booted it up in the air, and obviously then Spence played a poor touch, which then
poorest clearance me.
Yeah, that was. I mean, obviously we had the goal, didn't we? Where Bentancur scored from a sort of like, was it from a set piece? Came from a set piece. The Bentancur disallowed goal,
then
wasn't
out
it?
to Johnson shot, and then he sort of
so obviously like another set piece we get the goal from, because I think we're poor attacking. I just don't think we create a fat lot. And you sort of thought he got off the hook then, but it was a foul, wasn't it? I think it was a foul, wasn't it? But
I'd like to point. Sorry, Giv. I just want to point out this is my brother who is watching the show for the very first time. Hello.
My dad's in the chat as well, Dave.
Is
so
he?
There you go.
Is he?
Yeah,
Which one's your dad?
Sully, 1952.
That's your. Is that you? Is that your dad? I never knew that. There we go.
It is.
There we go. Is Ralph going to join us in the chat, Gibbo?
No, mate. He's very quiet tonight. He's downstairs. So, but yeah, I mean, after the goal, we'll go through the little period of play. So we have to go. But yeah, Van der Ven gets a yellow after our disallowed goal. Bit of a lack of discipline. And then I'd put left wing. It's a black hole for the team. Bad period, wasn't it? And I think
Van der Ven is the first time we've ever had a Dutch captain of the team.
There? Did Van der Dart never get the armband for a little bit?
I don't think so. I don't think it's the first ever Dutch captain of the team. And I was thinking about that. How many Dutch players have we got? Xavi Simons, Van der Ven, Van der Vaart, Michael Vorm,
Michel Vorm, Janssen.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Fucking hell. That's a good question. Is Vincent Janssen a better striker than Richarlison? Over to you two.
Connor, go for
Not
it.
a lot in it.
I don't think there's a fat lot in it. I think
there's not a lot in it.
No.
Llorente was better.
Oh no! I'm not. Yeah, Llorente. I'm not putting him in. I like Llorente. He did exactly.
Pavlyuchenko was better.
As I always say, what we talk about with Richarlison is his shithousery. When you talk about shithousery with a player, means they're shit.
Let's give O bingo.
Yeah. Well, it's true. So we bring on Simmons and Kudus for Boris and Bergvall. We go 2-0 down. But Connor and Dave, Vicario kicking that ball up. And as soon as it left his foot, if you watch the replay, he's starting to have a go at someone. I mean, I don't know what we're passing back to the keeper for from 6 yards out in our own area. Ball drops to Spence, and it's just, he just like stuck a leg out. I don't even know what he was trying to do. The kid gets hold of the ball. Another good finish by them. But it was terrible, wasn't it, Connor? Like, just from Vicario and Spence, both of them. It was so like schoolboy. and just sort of like not giving a fuck.
I'll start with Spence because
Yeah.
I'm less critical of him. But I agree with what you said earlier. I think since he's got that England call up, he's gone backwards. He was dreadful against Wolves.
He
and
wasn't
then,
great tonight, mate. I didn't
today
think.
he was. And Doncaster, he went through the motions. It's definitely a mentality thing with Spence for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
I also think, for how outstanding he is defensively generally, particularly when he plays left back, when we're going forward, that left wing just isn't working. It's obviously mainly because we don't have a left winger, but also because whenever he gets the ball, he has to cut inside, and he's not got that natural left foot.
Yeah,
so it's not working going forward. And I thought when Udogi came on, I thought we did all right actually. My dad's just said that as well.
Yeah.
He's right.
You're both correct.
But then going on to Vicario, that was again another. He did that about 3 or 4 times against Wolves, and I'm now getting to the stage with him where, Hinsky is not the finished article by any stretch of imagination, but given Hinsky, who he looks like a much higher ceiling, a run of games might not be a bad idea because as relates to sort of distribution, it's night and day. Hinsky's got very good distribution. He can also claim across much better than Vicario.
He's just not very good at. His problem is shot stopping.
Although he made a fantastic save against Doncaster, to be fair, I know it was against Doncaster, but still a save's a save. You got to make it. So yeah, I'd be open to giving him a run of games.
Yeah, Dave, is his shot stopping as bad that you wouldn't put him in, Dave? I mean, you can embellish on this, but he looks to me when he goes to kick the ball, Vicario, like he's one of them kids who can't kick the ball and they have to look at it and do those little stuttery run-ups and then really swing their leg at it. Do you know what I mean?
The last one picked in the school playground.
Yeah, just terrible. But what are your thoughts then on that actual?
Did you used to bully such kids at school?
Probably, mate. Probably.
I mean, the way you've been going on about Xavi Simons tonight, he's not as good as I think he is.
Mate, it's a hot take, mate. Look, let's clarify. I don't think he's a bad player. I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm saying I think he's a decent player. I think he'll probably be as good as Maddison. He'll be fitter than Maddison for most of the time.
He'll be better than Maddison.
That's what you're saying. And what is this based on? Watching Xavi Simons play 10, 20 games for Holland and Red Bull, or is it?
I'm always at the Ajax Amsterdam Arena watching the Dutch team and of having a night in Ajax afterwards.
All I'm saying is, I think he'll be good, but I do not think he will be the world star game-changing player that when we signed him, everybody thinks he will be. I think he'll be a good player. I know it's early, but I'm just that's my opinion from what I see. I think he's going to be Maddison levels.
What I would say, I think, look, for me, I said this after the Brighton game. When you watch a player, sometimes you can tell if they've got ability or not, right? Just straight away, just in the way that their body shape is when they pick up the ball, how they can turn each way. And again, you saw that tonight, and he wasn't great by any stretch of the imagination, but he's just got technical ability that you can't see with other players. So, like when I watch Brennan Johnson, for example, the only thing he can do when he picks up the ball is lay it back to Porro if he's lucky, if he doesn't get turned over. In terms of general contribution to play. Whereas Simons, to me, you can see a player in him. He's going to take time to transition. I mean, we're seeing this with Wirtz, right? Wirtz at Liverpool was up 115 million. Yeah. It's been pretty poor so far. Tonight, again, apparently he was poor against Galatasaray. Did nothing. So it takes time for these players to settle in. And Simons is arguably not actually played a full game, I don't think, in the 10 yet, has he? He's played cameo parts in the 10.
And this is a salient comment. It's a salient comment here. It's almost as if Kerry's talking about Connor, really. Does he need better people around him, like on Last Word of the Spurs, Spurs Kings, and whatever else you're on?
To be fair, Kerry's probably right, because he could probably do with a good centre forward in front of him, someone who can come and get the ball. We could probably do with a better left winger, couldn't we? Do you know what I mean? You know, look, I think Connor's bang on right. I think he's got a touch. He's got So when I watch Maddison play, I can see all that. So
I
all I'm
agree,
saying is
yeah.
it's just a hot take, but I don't think he's going to be the level of player that everybody thinks he's going to be. I'm not saying he's going to be a flop. I'm not saying he's going to be shit and he's no good and we'll have to move him on. I'm just saying I do not think he's going to be the level everybody thinks he's going to be. But anyway,
hang on, just one question. No, hang on a minute. 1 second. Given that in the same period of time that we've got Mawani and Xavi Simons, you've got your hot take there, and Mawani apparently is fat and unfit and has got a dead leg.
Yeah.
What's your take on Mawani then?
We don't know, do we? He's played about 10 minutes, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I'm basing mine on sort of like what I've seen, what I think, and I've just got a hunch. So that's what that's based on. Mawani needs to get fit, doesn't he? But I think he was just not a panic. Well, I say not a panic buy. Now, in hindsight, with the Solanke thing, I think it was a panic move. Because like that with Solanke, somebody told me a while ago when it first happened that he needed an operation and it was likely he was going to be out for a few months. And it's dragged on. And then lo and behold, we go and get Mawani. We hadn't been anywhere near, had we, in the transfer market? Been nowhere near him.
Well, we tried to get him in January, but instead we got... we tried to get him in January and we got Tell instead, and that worked out well.
Yeah. Anyway, so they're 2-0 up. And then, we get back in the game, 2-1. So here's another point of mine. Brilliant cross from Porro. Great header from Van der Ven.
Yes.
That looks, if Kuda said putting the ball in or retaining the ball up front, that's our best chance of scoring, isn't it? Like booming crosses into the box.
Yes.
Well, to be fair, which is the reason why I would have played Porro against Wolves, because I think when we're playing against weaker opposition who are going to sit back, at least look, there's question marks over Porro defensively, although at times I don't think he got the best support from the man in front of him either. No. And he was quite often isolated, but nevertheless, he's not outstanding by any stretch.
He's got better, hasn't he? But he's a wing back, isn't he, Connor?
Yeah, but what he can do, without doubt, is now that Trent has left the league, he's probably the best technical right back in terms of being able to deliver a ball in the box in the league. And as you say, that cross for that goal, plus he also, I know we're going to come on to it, but he played for the second goal. He played a great pass through to Archie Gray, who then obviously crossed it across for a brilliant finish by Richarlison.
His free kick that hit the post before Bentancur.
Yes.
Yeah.
Scored.
And that,
Dave, Porro, you've got to play any. I think that our best fullbacks are Porro and a doggy.
I think so as well.
Just for the balance.
Unless you're playing a top team, in which case I think there's an argument for Spence because he's so good defensively.
Yeah.
I think Spence looks better at left back than right back, which is very weird. Right? Very weird. And I always thought that Spence was a marauding right wing back who was great at going forward, beating a man and get a cross in. That's the impression I got of him. And then, I don't know what it is with him. He's a bit of a curate's egg, isn't he?
Yeah.
But it's telling that when Ange, who, let's not forget, is a European trophy winner at our club alongside Bill Nick and Keith Birkinshaw, when it came to the business end of the Europa, he played Destiny and he played Porro without any hesitation.
I totally agree. I think they're the best. I think they're the best fullback combination we have, especially for the balance of the team as well. But so we get back into it. We did great. We brought Gray on. I've put down here. Well done, Gray. I thought he did quite well. I thought he did well when he played.
He did well when he came
last few times he's played, Gray, he starts to look a bit better. And I put goal Richie, but it was an own goal, wasn't it?
It was like Jonathan Woodgate in the cup final.
Yeah, it was like that. It was.
It was an own. Well, I think they've given it as an own goal. Let me check up on this.
And the VAR was for the offside, not a handball.
But
which was really tight, wasn't it, when they showed that other angle?
Own goal. Own goal.
So it doesn't go down. So how many goals has he got this season now? 3 still?
3. Well, and this is another Gibbo bingo thing. Richarlison is a scorer of good goals, not a good goal scorer.
No, I've never heard you say that before, Gibbo.
You never heard me say that one before.
No. Is that your new one for the season?
It must have been.
Are you going to get some merch going for that?
We'll get some mugs with that put on.
Yeah, we need a big mug. There's a lot of words. I'm thinking t-shirt. Have the grumpy face on, and then that underneath.
But Gray did well, didn't he? It was.
I thought he did well.
Yeah. Put the ball in good area.
Yeah, my brother agrees with you. Yeah, he did well. I like Gray. I mean, some people are writing him off, which is ridiculous. Some people have been moaning about Paulinho as well, which is also
that's ridiculous. If
those kind of people deserve to be invited to the fans forum. Connor, have you been invited to the fans forum?
Not yet.
I got an email saying I could sign up to try and get a ticket for it, but I'm away, unfortunately.
No, surely. So can't you pass the ticket on to Gibbo then?
Well, I don't actually have one. It's only to apply. It's only to apply for one. All season ticket holders were invited to apply for one, and then I'm sure they would somehow find that my Twitter account and maybe not let me.
No way. That in this new era. Because in this new era of new owners, surely you as a social media behemoth that you are, must be going to the fans forum.
What are we talking about? Look, just quickly on Gray. On Gray, I feel obliged to say this because for me, Gray has become a bit of a scapegoat of the Tottenham YouTube community. In that, everyone.
Who are these people? Name and shame. I want to hear.
No names. But I feel like almost because of his price tag with Gray, obviously it cost a lot of money for a kid. He's been completely written off. I think you're right. And for me, look, the kid is 19. I think people focus their efforts sometimes on the wrong thing when they're writing off, players like Gray. And these youngsters have been overexposed by the poor squad building by Tottenham, right? Gray has had to play in centre half, has had to play at left back, right back, played in midfield a couple of times. The times he's played in midfield, he got thrown into the fire against Liverpool. He also, these are the same fans that bash Ange for his system and lack of coaching, etc. And then on the same side, also bash an 18, 19-year-old kid for maybe not doing it. It's just massively contradictory. And for me, look, I think people need to remember Gray was one of the hottest spoken about talents in English football.
Yeah.
He also was a player that Pep Guardiola wanted at Man City and was talking about potentially looking at for this summer, even buying him off Tottenham. So I think sometimes we just need to, and players develop at different rates. Bergvall might have kicked on sooner, but you never know. Bergvall might stagnate in the next couple of years and Gray might overtake him, right? So I think we need to calm down, and I agree with your point, Gibbo, which is that the last couple of times, I think against Doncaster, he had a good game, and I thought he had a good cameo tonight. So hopefully, with a bit of proper coaching and actually playing with some experienced players, he might come on.
Do we need any more from him at the minute? I mean, that if that's his role in the squad at the minute, then that's good enough, isn't it? We're not asking him to play all the time, and I think that probably would be a step too far at the minute. I think we're probably asking Odebear and Tau to do that out wide because we're so thin in that area.
Same thing with them to some extent, to be fair. Like, we shouldn't be in a situation where we're wanting one of Odebear or Tell, and Tell should never have been signed because we already had Odebear. But regardless of that, where we're asking one of them to be the starting left winger for a team that wants to compete for the league and the Champions League, they should be players that are making cameos or playing against the likes of Doncaster. So, I think these young players are almost being judged because of the fact that they're getting overexposed.
Yeah, I mean, Dave, I don't know about. I'm not a massive Tau fan. I think he has really been struggling. I think he's really been struggling. But I would have liked to have seen him loaned out. I don't think you can because I think he's got a decent shot on him. He's obviously played well when he's played for the under-21s. I just think they need to. He's obviously confidence is going to be a massive thing with him now because I think he has been so poor. But do you agree with Connor, Dave? That
I do agree with Connor on Gray, and what I like about Connor's comments is that people calling things out just too early, making too early judgments, like Poor old Xavi Simons getting a battering from you 15 minutes ago.
Don't feel sorry for him, mate. He's earning 100 grand a week,
Oh,
mate. Don't
here
you
we
worry
go.
about old Xavi.
The old, he's earning 100. Let's slate him. Let's. Oh,
Well, I haven't slayed him, have I? I've just made a.
I think you have. You've given your hot
I've
take.
probably
You've
not.
written him off.
I've probably not watched as many of his performances for Holland or his Red Bull Leipzig, wherever he was from, performances to draw as big a conclusion as you have on him.
Well, I'm excited about the signing of Xavi Simons. I would have liked Eze and I would have liked Morgan Gibbs White, other ready to go Premier League players. We know what happened there, so we'll part that. But from as Connor said on a couple of occasions, he looks a player. You can tell by a player by the way they receive the ball, get them, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. He's new in. I know. Let's not go back to him. So anyway, Gray. I like Gray, and I like the fact that last year he was thoroughly thrown in the deep end. I mean, Bergvall did well. He had to, but Bergvall rotated between 6 and 8 and 10 at times. Gray, I think, played across the whole of the back four and in midfield. So, and he's a kid. So that's as far as I'm concerned. For me, give him a break. That's what I support. I support him, and those YouTubers. I still think
those bloody YouTubers.
Bloody you! Is it Hotspur hippie sounding like I'll get you? I'll get you, Sever. I'll get you.
We've got away 2-2 apiece.
Yes.
How did it feel to you? Because I came on here and I said, I think that's a good point in the end for how bad we were, a bit like Wolves, but it feels like a defeat. Even though it's not, it's a good point, really. I just think and leading on from that, what's your take on it? Did Frank set us up wrong? I know he made changes, but you expect that. But were we too passive? Did we not give ourselves enough of a chance early doors because we just sat back and let them build up on us and gain momentum? You know, so what's your feelings, Connor, about the result and how we were set up tonight?
Yeah, I think we were too passive, but I think the other thing to remember that there are a lot of players out at the moment as well, right? We are missing. You're missing 4 attacking players. In Mwani, Solanke, Madison, Kulusevski. Romero was obviously missing as well. Then there was other rotation in the team. So I think he's trying to manage the squad for playing multiple games a week, clearly.
Yeah.
I think he probably over-rotated slightly tonight. I think he underestimated Bodo, who actually, to be fair to them, they played very well as well, right? And
they did.
And their record at home is good, right? Even in Europe, it's good when they've played in Europe. And I think some of our fans who predicted we would smash them probably don't understand a lot about the way the Bodo are at home. I'd be surprised if they get beaten, comfortably by anyone at their own ground, just because it's the conditions and everything else.
The journey as well.
Yeah. So look, I think there was that context for sure, but that's not to take away. It was a dreadful performance generally. The positive to take away from it is that I think the subs made a difference for sure. We looked much better once the subs came on.
Yeah.
And I thought, to bring a game back from 2-0 to draw away from home to get a point out of that again shows a bit of grit and a bit of teams quite resolute. So resilient. So I think that's the positive to take away from it. But look, I think we need to start creating from open play sooner rather than later because, but I don't. Partly, I think it's a Frank thing in terms of I think Frank has focused on making sure we're solid, and I think he's probably thinking, we need to make sure we don't lose games.
Yeah.
But I think the bigger part of it is that the quality of player that he's got in those positions to allow us to create from open play is just not there. You've only got Simmons and Kudus who are of any sort of technical standard. So until you get Mwani fit and firing, before you get we're not going to have a left winger. So that situation, as we all said after the window, was disappointing. I think we're going to have this, and the one benefit for us in the Premier League, I think, is that outside City, Liverpool, and Arsenal, the rest of the teams are all toiling a bit as well. Chelsea have had a really easy start in terms of fixtures to the season, and they are below us. Newcastle have had a poor average start. Villa have had a poor start. So, we'll be there or thereabouts depending on injuries in terms of sort of fifth, those European places, fifth, sixth, seventh, something like that. But it's going to be tough watch at times, I think, this year until we start to get some of those creative players fit and firing.
Agreed.
I think we've got a thin squad, and although our previous owner said that we were going to compete on all four competitions this season, but now under the new era, we watch out. January the 1st, we're buying big. January the 1st, mark my words, we're going to go huge in the market. We will have
been told this day.
No, we'll have to do an instant reaction show for 31 days in January as we buy 31 players in January. We're going large. I think for me, summing the whole thing up, because I think it's time for bed for you two, is that the thing that I'm a bit curious about is Sarr at the moment, because at the start of this season, and I know that we haven't had many games, he looked in the best form that he's been in at Tottenham for a long time. And then he kind of got rotated out, and I thought tonight he was very poor. And I just think that for me, Sarr is the number 8 competing with Bergvall for number 8, Paulinho at 6, and your mate Xavi at 10 is how I would have. That's the best midfield for when we want to be attacking, particularly against the likes of your Wolves and your Bournemouths, right? That's That's how I would have it. We've got nothing on the left since Gibbo drove Sonny out the club legend.
Yeah,
and then we got Kudos. And my worry is about Kudos and Xavi is we'll do the same old thing that we always do. We'll run them into the ground. They'll lose form or get injured or both.
Which is the reason I suppose he rotated them tonight.
Yeah,
right?
He is. And I just think that's right. But I think, we got a lunchtime kickoff on Saturday. I can see. I tell you, I reckon Tell will start in the middle.
Yeah,
I think he'll rotate, reach out.
The thing with as well, like what you're saying about and Kudus being our only real, as of lately, our real only threat going forward,
and Xavi.
Through the course of the season that we've had so far, the biggest threat we've had as an attack is Kudus, isn't it?
One now, and Xavi 2.
Now. With him, he's the type of player. I mean, at times he's unplayable. He looks brilliant, but he is the type of player that. And this is why it's going to be so important that we get someone else up front who's decent and someone on the left. And you get, if Siemens is going to be this player, that we get him firing, because there are going to be times with a player like Kudus where he is just not at it. They'll double up on him. He'll have when the ball's bouncing off him just because of the way he plays and the type he. And if you neutralise that, we have nothing. Because the centre forward doesn't bring anyone into play at the minute. Siemens isn't like bang. It really is. Like you said, against Wolves he was poor, so we need him to step up. And at the minute on the left wing, we are struggling big time. There's, we're picking from a low bar, and at the minute I'd probably say Odebear has got the shirt in that position. But whether he changes it to 3-5-2 and gets Kudus off, because I said to Zach, why don't we put Kudus up top? Because I think he can hold the ball up better than Richarlison.
In the centre?
Mate, we cannot keep the ball up front. We cannot keep hold of it. We cannot take any pressure. Richarlison doesn't bring anyone else into play. The one thing that Kudus can do, mate, is he can get the ball, he can hold players off, he can beat a man, and he can lay it off. I'm not saying that's ideal, but I'm just thinking at that point in the game, I'm like, what is Richarlison offering up top? We need somebody to. You could have put Odebear on the right, and do you know what I mean? I'm just thinking of ways that we can actually get some use out of the bloke who's playing centre forward.
Yeah, I know, but we're stuck with him until he gets injured.
Well, yeah, I mean, but so regarding Frank and Frank's tactics, what are your opinions on that last point of tonight's show? What's your thinking?
Do you want to go, Connor?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start. Yeah, and I'm a huge fan of Frank's. I think look, ultimately the context is we've lost 1 game in 10, right?
Yeah.
Overall since it's been there.
Mhm.
So, that's and given where we come from towards the end of last season, right, where
Just
we
lost
were
games.
piss poor, obviously, in the league. I think he's done a great job in terms of making us defensively more solid, although less so tonight. But generally, we've been much, much more solid
Structure.
defensively. I think set pieces obviously is a massive change from where we were, and maximising from set pieces and throw-ins and that type of stuff. So he's done that part. I think we need to see that piece in terms of helping us create from open play, but he's working with some poor players, so it's going to be difficult for him. But he had a Brentford team that scored more goals than Tottenham did last season, so I think he can coach us to score goals. I think the other thing is like there's a lot of commentary around it being boring to watch at the moment. Last season we were abysmal to watch.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yes.
Even ignoring losing the games, we were horrendous to watch. We had so many games where we didn't offer anything going forward, and Ange Ball was actually a myth, right? So I think people need to remember that just because Ange decided to put his fullbacks in attacking positions doesn't mean that you're playing swashbuckling, exciting football. So yeah, look, I think there's work to do, but we knew that. I think again, it's another manager that's been left with one hand tied behind his back because we didn't sign a left winger.
Yeah.
But overall, I think it's been a positive start for him, and I think we'll see how that carries on into the season. But I think we'll be there or thereabouts in terms of 5th to 7th, which is good progress from where we were last season.
Dave, your final thoughts on his setup tonight?
I thought that I was surprised at him not changing things at half time when it was so clearly looking crap.
Yeah.
I think hindsight's a wonderful thing, but maybe he should have had them training on the pitch beforehand. I think that's a bit of a myth to say that it's a tactical advantage. But the reality is we've had 2 games in the Champions League. We've got 4 points. Is it 4? 3 for a victory, I presume. Yeah. So we got 4 out of 6. We got a draw away from home. We're very lucky tonight. Very, very lucky. But we've got away with 1. And that sets us up. I think is it Monaco next?
Monaco away, isn't it?
Away. So that's obviously going to be I'm assuming, a tougher fixture. And he will set up accordingly. And then the next challenge is lunchtime on Saturday and who he's going to pick. I just think he's been given a very thin squad again. And yes, people will find it boring. We're not creating, what we're creating from open play is pretty poor. Our home record is pretty poor.
That's been for a while, Dave.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is that he's going to have to pretty quickly learn that when you're playing a low block team at home against a club like ours, you're going to have to be more front foot, right? But so far, I'm not. I think he's doing okay. He's someone that I wanted to get in, and I love the reactionary of Ange Ball, which was never really Ange Ball apart from about 20 games, to now we're really boring. And let's get, the next thing will be, let's get him out. He's really boring. He's got no European experience. We've got 4 points out of 6. Yeah. And we did well against PSG in the Super Cup final. And I think there's, we've had a good moan tonight, but I think there's a lot to be optimistic about. Yeah, reasons to be cheerful is, and very quickly, my expectation for the season, I want to win a domestic cup. I'd be happy if we finish in the Europa again, because I think that's our level, European football-wise.
Yeah.
And obviously with the huge investment of the American DJ or the Lewis family, we'll buy some players.
I don't think my point on that is, I don't think we're necessarily boring. I think what we are is very poor in the final third. I think we get we progress the ball to a certain point, and then we don't have the quality or the movement to make good decisions and make good passes and make good final actions. I think that's the problem. I don't think it's boring. I think we're happy to get it forward when we need to get it forward. We're happy to hit it long, but I just do not think we've got the players to do that. So he sort of needs to find another way. And as friend of the show HG says, we've got wing backs. Maybe try 3-5-2. We played it against PSG and we looked pretty good playing it. Strangely enough, we've not played it since.
No.
And it doesn't have to be defensive 3-5-2, does it? I mean, as was shown against PSG, I mean, the fullbacks are really high up the pitch in that game and, did a good job.
For example, Connor,
that might be until we get players back, until Kulusevski comes back and he's firing, or, Milani is fully fit, or we sign this left winger on the 1st of January. It might be a way of managing, because even like a Brennan Johnson, for example, if you went 3-5-2 and your two were Kudus and Johnson, say, and Johnson wasn't being asked to play out on the touchline beating his man, he was playing off of Kudus, say.
Yeah.
He can finish. He's much better at finishing than Richarlison.
Yes.
That might be a short-term fix. But yeah, I think it's a difficult job for Frank, to be frank, because I think we don't have the quality.
We don't have the quality in attacking areas at the moment, do we? Like, for instance, I was just going to say, when Udogie, over the last couple of games, he's got into the box a couple of times and he just didn't know what to do with it, did he? He got in good positions in the box and he sort of dithers on it and he gets tackled. Or like tonight, I think the ball come off the post or something, and you think just follow up and make a decision, either whack it back across the goal or have a shot. But you can see he's just wasting seconds because he's not sure what to do. And I think that's the problem. I don't think it is boring as per se. I just don't think we have the players in the right areas to do the right things. Anyway, like you said, 4 points out of 6 in the Champions League. We've snatched a draw from the jaws of defeat once again. That's 2 games in a row. Leeds before the international break. What could possibly go wrong? We usually do well in those games before the international break. Dave, we've managed to get an hour. Thanks for getting up early and doing the show with us, mate. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
And Connor, mate, thanks for coming on. I know you've got a busy schedule. You've been now, to be fair, mate, you said you weren't feeling great this week, were you? And you'd had a lot on with work and stuff, mate. So thanks for coming on after that game, because that must have drained you even more.
Thank you.
No worries. All good. It's good to have the therapy.
Yeah, that's what my missus says. Get up there and moan to them, not me. So, as always, everybody, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.